26.
28.
28.
35.
35. Jerome, 22. Great job, guys. The point of this exercise is to show you that if we just tweak something, sometimes if we change something just a little bit, we take a process that we're doing, how we're selling something, how we're approaching the consumer about selling something, we become more successful. We jump out of the box. We're not in the box where every day we just come in and say, huh, is it almost time to go home? Is it, I got to do this shit all day? We jump out of the box. We do something a little differently. It becomes more exciting. We make a little bit more money. And we start to communicate a lot better by just making these little changes in processes. I see it all the time. I go to company meetings, and Jeff, who's our vice president of sales and marketing, does these little things all the time where he changes different processes. It energizes people. It excites them to do certain things, and that's the key. You got to tweak certain things to change processes to make it better and so that you can become more successful. So the next thing I'd like you to see really quickly, opportunity. What do you see in this picture set right away? What do you see? Tell me what you see. Quick. What? Old woman, young woman?
Old lady.
Old lady. How about you? You see anything in there?
Just a woman.
What? Young, old, kid?
Young.
Okay, cool. What about you?
4 cars are made.
4 cars. Okay. What about you? Woman, young, old?
Middle age.
Okay. The actual thing, what I want you to see here, is there are actually 2 faces in this picture. There's the young gal that you see, it's a side profile. Everybody see that side profile? It almost looks like a little dance hall girl. She's got black hair, a little jewel here, a little eyelash, a feather coming out of the top of her hair. She's got like a bower on around her shoulders. Do you guys see that? Yeah? And then there's an older woman here, looks like a real older woman with a real kerchief around her head. She's got a real big nose, a jetting chin with an open, slightly open mouth here. And that's that kind of a picture where you can see that old woman. I hope you guys see that. Can you see it yet, Seth?
Not the young one.
Not the young one or the old one?
You see the profile.
You can't see the side. There's a side profile of the young girl. Do you see her?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you guys see the old woman and the young woman? Okay, the purpose of this exercise that I did for you here is to teach you that it's about opportunity. It's about opportunity. We want you to see the whole picture, not just the young woman or not just the old woman. We want you to see the whole picture. We want you to see the whole thing that we're trying to do for you here with BG Products, how to make more money, how to talk in communication with the consumer with different word tracking, how the technicians can do using tools for test strips and things like that that are going to energize them in their flat rate monies, how then it's going to energize you, Mitch, with the money that you're making basically from what you do. So everything ties in together. Opportunity is the key. If you can see the whole picture, you'll be a success. If you only see the young woman or you only see the old woman, you got to work on it because you need to see the whole picture here at the dealership. And that's what we're here to try to do. So important to understand that, guys. I'd like to take you into now some stuff, and we're going to get into some of the products now and what we do. We'll do some little tricks about processes to get you involved. Then we're going to talk about fuel, which is my favorite subject, so that you get educated about that. And I love with the technicians to understand that because you'll help me out with that. Maybe even give me some information that I might need. So here's my question to everybody here. What do you think is the key to selling service? What do you think the key is? Jerome, what do you think the key is to selling service? You're in the service department doing work. You know, you say something needs to be done. What's the key? What do you think the key is?
Upsell. Make money. That's the key.
Okay.
My book.
Okay. All right, good answer. Every answer is great. Seth, what do you think? The key to selling service.
I don't know.
Okay, it's okay. Honest answer. Mitch.
Maintaining a product, maintaining your investment.
Okay. Cool.
Timing.
Timing? Okay, cool. I've talked to a lot of dealer principals throughout my career. I've talked to a lot of service directors, fixed operations directors. I talked to a lot of service advisors, technicians, factory people, and we always come up with the same word all the time when we get down to it, what the key to selling service is. And that word is empathy. Empathy is the key to selling service. Remember that word. If you take anything out of here today, remember the word empathy. You guys in the shop, Mitch, especially you out there on the front line, set in what you're doing, remember this word, empathy. Empathy, the definition of empathy, and I wrote this down from Webster's dictionary, and I want you to understand what it means, okay? It's the feeling that you understand and share another person's experiences and emotions, the ability to share someone else's feelings. So what do we mean by that? We mean, like, Mitch, I come to the service counter. I don't want to be here, right? I mean, service is a need-driven business. Sales, hey, I'm getting a new car, I love it. But service is a need-driven business. I don't want to be here. I'd rather be, watching the ball game. I'd rather be doing something else. I'd rather be going to Home Depot and buying something for my house. I don't want to be here, but unfortunately, I have to. So what we need to do in this industry is understand the person's empathy. We have to understand what's going on in their mind, and vice versa. They then have to understand what it is that you're thinking, so that we can come to that medium point where they begin to trust and feel very loyal to you. And once that happens, you can sell the consumer anything that they need. Not that they don't need, but what they do need. So the key is empathy. And we're going to talk throughout this process that we're doing today about that. We'll hear that word a number of times, but remember this word, empathy. Next time a customer comes to your counter, Mitch, and talks to you, and you're having a conversation with them, ask them how their day is going. Ask them, what's going on in your life. Even though they're talking to you, they just came in for a lube oil and filter. Ask them. You'll find out that sometimes communication's open, and before that conversation is over, you've sold them a brake fluid exchange. You've sold them a transmission service. You sold them the tires that they need. Empathy is the key to selling service. Remember the word, empathy. Okay? Very important word in this industry. Remember it, you will sell more. It's the key to selling service. Any questions so far about what we've talked about? Okay, cool. No problem. Okay, good. Let's talk about the first type of service, and then after that we're going to do a little card trick to go through some processes. Let's talk about brake fluid exchange. When we have a customer that comes to the counter, they got 30, 40,000 miles, or the car comes into the shop, there's certain things that we need to do to see if that fluid needs to be replaced, okay? So, very simply, let's talk about brake fluid first. The brake fluid is what? It's hydroscopic, right? Okay, and what happens because brake fluid is hydroscopic? You know what it does? It loves moisture, man. It grabs it like this and hugs it and says, man, I love you, I want you. And how do we get the moisture in, right? We take off the cap, we put some brake fluid in, we get some moisture going in, comes through the brake hoses themselves, okay? Moisture is a real problem with brake fluid, right? It loves it. Again, man, listen to this set. It grabs it, it loves it, man. It really wants to stay there with it. And then what else happens, guys? You guys that are technicians, what happens? We've got copper in the brake lines, right? In the back brake lines. As that brake fluid heats up, copper starts to flake off, gets into that fluid, contaminates the fluid. And then what we see between moisture and contamination from copper, what we see is the temperature range that the .4 or .3, that's at 425 degrees that it has to be, is now protected to 325. And we got a problem. It's longer distances to stop. Okay? Had an incident with General Motors over 12 months ago where a woman was driving a car and she thought she was driving safe in front of a car and she tried to stop. Car in front of her stopped, banged into the back of the vehicle, did about $3,000 worth of damage to the person's car who she hit. She did about $2,000 worth of damage to her car. Even though she went through insurance, the insurance company and her were talking, they went into an arbitration against General Motors saying that the brake fluid was contaminated. They had it checked, and they found out that the brake fluid only protected to 325 degrees. And what did it do, guys? It caused the customer a longer distance to stop. Therefore, she hit this car, caused the accident, and guess what? She won the case in arbitration. This is a true story.
She got a good lawyer.
She had a good lawyer, right? She won the case. Guess what? They paid for her car, Even though the insurance company was going to pay, she won the case. It's very important that what we do in our jobs, that we do this process properly, that we tweak what we just looked at in that exercise, that we tweak some things and do some things a little differently so we can sell. So we're going to give you some tools, guys, to help you guys do this. Those tools are the brake strips. Are you guys using brake strips here at all? Test strips? Okay. Really important, guys. This is scientific proof that the consumer needs a brake fluid exchange. Scientific proof. It takes all the guesswork out, Mitch. It takes it all out for you. If the technician, what we're trying to do is make it mandatory that it's attached to a repair order on every vehicle that has 30,000 miles or more on it. So that this test strip simply gets dabbed into the brake fluid through the master. In 10, 15, 20 seconds, it's going to change to a color. And it's going to tell us whether it's contaminated with moisture or copper, or if the brake fluid is good. I will bet you this. How many technicians do you have in the shop?
15.
15. How many times a day do you think, Mitch, and I ask you because I think you would know this better than them, how many times a day do you turn over the shop? How many times a day do cars come in, those cars go out, another 15 cars come in, those 15 cars go out, another 15 cars come in, and they go out? How many times a day do you turn the shop around?
4.
4 times, okay. So here's the thing, I'll bet you lunch today and dinner tonight, that if I walked out in that shop right now, on any car that has over 30,000 miles, I will bet you that out of the 15 cars, that at least 6 of them need brake fluid exchanges right now. I will bet you that lunch and that dinner, because people don't understand how to look at brake fluid and use a tool that's going to have the customer understand the empathy end of what you're thinking and what they should be thinking about. So by using a test strip, you take out all the guesswork. It's not about, hey, you're just telling me at 30,000 miles I just need it. Okay? Yeah, maybe they don't need it. And that's okay. But you're doing the right thing by testing it. The technicians, you guys should be testing brake fluid every single time you get a car. You work flat rate, guys. And if you test this, I guarantee you, how many cars a week do you work on? Approximate. 50? How many you?
Not that 50.
Okay. I guarantee you, if you use these test strips, you will make at least another 10 more hours a week in your pay. How's that? I guarantee it. And if you don't, I'll pay the difference. I guarantee it. If you promise to use these the way that I'm going to show you how to use them, I'll come into the shop later after I'm all done and we'll test some cars. If you do it, if you don't make 10 more hours a week and you're honestly using them on every single car that you work on, and you don't make 10 more hours a week, I'll pay you the difference. How's that? Because I'm telling you, you will. And the good thing and the cool thing about this is that it's scientific proof. Mitch, when you go and talk to the consumer, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is scientifically telling you you need this brake fluid exchange. It's not me. It's the test strip that's telling you. It's a great selling tool. It's something that needs to be in this dealership, and we don't have them here. We're going to give you some to start the process. Don, make sure they have test strips here. And we'll go through some of them today. We're going to actually go in the shop later. I'm going to dip some, and we're going to see. I have some packages for you before we leave here that I'll give you. There's some brake strips in there, but we're going to give you some brake strips today so that we can start using these, and you're going to see a major difference here, guys. If you're getting paid a dividend from us, I don't know if you guys are or not, but if you're getting paid any kind of dividend, this is going to be another way to make more money also for yourself. It is a great tool to use. Brake is really one of the services that is so much needed in this industry. Listen, I have a great saying that I've been saying for many years. 100% of the people, 100% of the time, every day, every time, without fail, no exception. 100% of the people, 100% of the time, every day, every time, without fail, no exception. If you do that, You will be successful. I've got dealers that keep